No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.
Biddly, 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 boy. Yes, yes, yeah. Here we go. Ain't nobody down around here. Grab your brew, bro. You know what time it is. Get that badger in and on and over here. We had to move back to get his greatness in. He's in, he's on, he's over, he's here. The clout chasers here. The clock watchers are in. Keep subscribing, keep liking. Appreciate every which one here. We're trying to get to 6,000 before the start of the season, and we don't know if we're on course for that or not. The season is already beginning to loom over my 6,000 subscriber hopes. Getting attacked by either some imagery within my eyes that isn't real or some imagery within my eyes that is real. But that's not why we're here. Quick shit vid. Plenty to talk about. Just quickly, you know, we'd nobody do it how we does it. We'll be live tomorrow, Thursday night, for a couple of hours to shoot the shit with the boyos. Be-all is obviously done. And then as that's happened, Pascal is set to be sold, allegedly. So apparently the sale talks are escalating. I'm not keen on this, truth be told. I've actually been one of the people over the past couple of years that I wouldn't say didn't rate Pascal Struijk, but I was a little bit concerned about his ceiling and the level that it can get to, which, you know, for everyone that just says I'm a happy clapper and I look after Odegaard, I don't want rid of Pascal for the next couple of years. I'm kind of keen on. I'm not one of these. I think Beale's an excellent signing, but I'm not one of these that just thinks he comes in and he dominates and he's now the centre back with Rodon and that is the new partnership going forward. I need to try centre myself up here till do some people's heads in. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a centre back partnership going forward. I think it weakens the signing of Beale, truth be told. I think we end up in a scenario where we're back to square one, even if he is an improvement on Struijk. I think we know Struijk's strengths, Struijk's. We know Struijk's weaknesses, and I'm not sure we're upgrading until he can't get some game time. The second he can't get any game time, you go, right, we can actually find a solution. My fear is you get rid of Struijk. I understand that it'd be 100% profit and it'd be great for PSR and stuff. And if that is the case, that's the case, and that's the angle that they're going down. But that means for me, they've got to bring in another centre-back. We're kind of taking a step backwards to bring in somebody else. I thought at this point, centre-back was pretty much sorted. You know, I'm not sure what's happening with Wobber. But, you know, he was meant to be the man, wasn't he? Koch was meant to be the man when he got here. Llorente was meant to be the man when he got here. And Struijk never really lost his position in there. You know, and even Cooper was competing for his position. And I don't mean even Cooper as though that's a diss to Cooper. I just mean, you know, we've been trying to replace these players for a long time, and sometimes it is better the devil you know. And I don't want to be replacing players in the mind before we've seen any game time and we actually go, right, this is a significant step up. You know, when we got Ben White, it was like he's going to be the centre-back. When we got Rodon and saw him play a few times, it was like he's going to be the centre-back. He was the replacement. Him and Struijk was a better partnership than anybody we could put with Cooper or either of them with Cooper, etc. And then I hold my hands up and I go, right, Cooper's time is now done at the club unless he wants to sit on the bench. I personally think come the opening game of the season, depending on what Fucker wants to do, if we do keep hold of Pascal, I'm not so sure that be-all comes straight in. I don't think he's the be-all and end-all of everything. I might be wrong on that. You know, he might have, because he's got such a long pre-season with us, he might just be on another level. But, you know, I'm not sure, unless we're selling Struijk and he's not even in our plans. Just seems also a bit of a strange one that, you know, on the basis that we had him as vice-captain for, you know, huge portions of his career at the club and then even captain at points, to then not be part of his plans. But shit is as shit does. I'm not hanging on to, you know, I just do you understand what I'm saying. If we've just got to bring in another random name that potentially ain't as good as him, just for the sake of PSR. So, what are your thoughts on Struijk? I think he's been a good servant for the club. I wouldn't begrudge any move, but I'm not ready to let go of him quite yet. I'm quite happy to stick a move, you know, and move on to different positions on the field. Obviously, we need left back, we need a centre midfield, we need a 10, potentially a 9. Well, potentially a 9. Definitely need a 10 though. That's my, you know, that's where I'm really starting to get a bit fluffy on. There's been some more talks about that Habib Diarra Apparently, a big bid's been put in. Whether or not it's true or not, we never know. Calvert Lewin is doing the rounds again, obviously from Everton. I'd normally be like half partial for that, but when we got Nemecha in, I just thought, I'm not actually mad on this one anymore. The Calvert Lewin, I've never been mad on Calvert Lewin anyway. I think he's really injury prone, and to be perfectly honest, I don't think he really fancies it. I think he's a decent player on his day, and he's a big, tall, strong unit, but I don't know whether he's totally dedicated to the cause, to be honest. And that might be really rude on my behalf, but I just think I don't want Calvert Lewin in. I'd rather take a risk on an injury prone player like Callum Wilson, who sort of, does have plenty of goals in him. Calvert Lewin's had some decent patches in his career, but no, there's got to be a reason. We're sort of in relative competition with Everton, aren't we? When we go up this year, and if they're not advancing in contract talks with him, then why would we? But ultimately, he's going to drop down to some extent, and he's got. I'm not saying it's a drop down from Everton before I get the pelters. But what are your thoughts on that? It's not for me. I'd rather us go out. I think we're all right with Bamford, Peru, Peralta, Risley, Nemecha. I think we're all right. I want another, but not Calvert Lewin. Lyon have been relegated to League Two, or however you say, on deux, quatre, cinq, six, sept, huit, neuf, dix. So everybody's going balmy about Leeds making some moves. Obviously, the entire squad is worth looking at. They're not going to want to stay, but who isn't going to be looking at that squad, truth be told? People online literally think that we are the only club in the world. And not only the only club in the world, we're the only club that know that they've been relegated. And it's like, why aren't Leeds been more proactive with Lyon's squad? Get the fucker on the phone now. Ring him. Ring Lyon chairman and say, here. I think he's probably got other stuff to sort out rather than talking to. I know Parag steps in and on and over everywhere, but I think the Lyon chairman's got plenty going on as it is. And rest assured, to be fair, that all the other clubs will have been more than well aware of what Lyon's potential fate was before we found out on Sky Sports News. So let's get it right. But they've obviously got some decent players. It'd be amazing if we could attract some, or one, or even half of one. But yeah, we apparently want 3 million for Giabi. Obviously, Giabi and Greenwood are coming back from their loan spells last season. We apparently want 3 million for Giabi. Apparently want 4 million for Greenwood. And I think that's quite a bit of money, really, when you consider sort of what they've done, particularly Giabi. I mean, Greenwood, you could argue, done a bit in Prem even, got goals and, been a championship player prospect. Giabi's never really, and obviously played some games last year in championship, but it just means that when you've gone into Europe and signed Tanaka for, the same amount of money, it's like, it's wild. But yet again, the 49ers being the bullies, and they're not vulnerable to being bullied, are they? So they keep moving like we do try. Big Wilder is gone. So Hamer is doing the rounds again. He's looking apparently like he wants a way out. He's looking for a move. And, people are saying that they're going to struggle to dictate his future now that Wilder's gone. Whether or not he had a good relationship with Wilder or not, nobody knows, do they? But Gus Hamer, I'm still not... to be honest, now we've made a couple of signings. If he comes in, I'm a bit happier about it. It was just early doors when the transfer market opened, and I thought, is Gus Hamer all we can think about? And people are still going on about Nick Pope, and I tried to dispel this a few weeks ago. I really don't think that's happening. He's already said that he wants to stay and fight for his place at Newcastle. I really don't think that's a goer. I think it's a non-starter. So, but what are your thoughts? Thoughts on Calvert Lewin? Thoughts on Gus Hamer? Thoughts on Pascal? I think it's a big one. Thoughts on the Badger? Thoughts on me? Thoughts on Nick Pope? You take him, but he ain't coming. Take it easy, everybody. Like, subscribe, give us a comment. Peace.
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.